Dahlia is such a beautiful flower, and there is a huge variety of all kinds of dahlias in nature. But if you Google search for something like paper dahlia or DIY dahlia flower, chances are you'll just find a bunch of very similar tutorials where you have to cut many identical paper squares, glue them and cut them together. And while I have nothing against those lessons and flowers, I just want to teach you something a little bit different. And yes, I will give you free templates, so stay with me here. We will make the dahlia look more realistic because of the right and nice petals shape, but we will save time by reducing the number of petals. So it will be everything as I like, beautiful and simple. And one last thing before we get into the lesson. This free dahlia tutorial is part of my brand new product called Paper Flower Backdrop in a Box. Oh my god, I'm so excited about this one. So this is a templates kit for 5 different paper flowers plus templates for leaves, with of course my detailed video tutorials, so you can easily make your own paper flower backdrop really fast. And whether you want to decorate your nursery, baby shower, wedding, or you like to try making paper flowers, or you just simply love all these cute flowers and you just want to add another 6 new templates to your list at once, then this backdrop in a box is perfect for you, because you don't have to search and buy different flower templates separately, thinking about how to arrange them and what to include in the composition. As the name says, everything is in one virtual box, and the flowers are so easy to make. I also tried to make this set really affordable so that anyone can have a way of putting a toe in the water and try making paper flowers. Okay, let's not wait any longer and jump into making the first and biggest flower in our backdrop, beautiful dahlia. I cut all the petals with my cutting machine, but even if you don't have one, don't worry. You can easily cut them by hand, because the shapes of these petals are extremely simple, so the cutting machine is completely optional here. And by the way, very often I get questions about what type of cutting machine I use. So I will quickly answer here that I love my Scan and Cut from Brother, because it also has a built-in scanner and I love the quality, but other machines are pretty good too. I will leave links in the description box to the cutting machines I can recommend, so it's convenient for you to check and compare them. Okay, let's start by preparing the base. We need 2 pieces, the large one and the small one, and I like to line mark both of them with a pencil into equal parts. And then I glue the small base on top of the large base, making sure that all the lines match. I think that this step is especially important when making a dahlia flower, because if you skip it and glue all the petals just by eye, the result can easily be a crooked and asymmetrical flower. And trust me, you don't want that. It's also very important that your base is sturdy and made of very heavy paper, because regular cardstock 175 grams will not be the best option here. So I recommend for the base to use paper with a weight of 250 grams and heavier, not lighter. Okay, the base is ready, let's put it aside for now and proceed with petals. For one dahlia flower, we need 10 petals number 1, 10 petals number 2, 6 to 7 petals number 3, 4 to 5 petals number 4, and 1 to 3 petals number 5. The number of petals is always different because it depends on how much you fold up and glue every petal. And here, guys, it's very important to pay attention to the paper weight too, because unlike for the base, the paper for the petals shouldn't be too thick, but opposite, it should be very lightweight so it's flexible and easy to work with. So ideally it will be 120 grams, but you can go up to 175. But I don't recommend to use heavier paper for the dahlia because it will be very difficult for you to work with it unless you are making a really big flower. Okay, in order to fold the perfect petals and not make ugly creases on the paper, we need to a little bit prepare each petal first. Look, I'm working through the paper by curling the whole petal first, and then I also additionally curl the corners. In this way, I kind of soften the paper and pre-shaping the petal, so it's easier for me to naturally fold the petal later. And as usual, I curl my petals using the edge of my desk, but of course you can do it any way you are more comfortable with. So like this, I work through all my petals. Okay, let's start with the first 10 petals number 1. In order to fold an even and not skewed petal, we need to symmetrically fold its edges exactly in the center. And to do this, I hold the petal upside down, visually find the center point, and focusing on the center point, I symmetrically fold the corners. Please note that I only fold the paper at the very bottom because this first row of petals should be as open as possible, so you don't want to fold and close them too much. And once I like the way I fold my petal and how it looks, with just a drop of glue I secure it in place. And trust me, using this method, your petals will always be even, straight and symmetrical.
Take my time. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my way. Gotta take it on my way. Take a look out my window. See the birds in the trees. Their songs inspire me to sing a sweet melody. How do they do it? Not a care and so free. Wanna step into their world. Who holds the key? It's a brand new day. Gotta take it on my
Okay, I finished making first 10 petals number 1, now proceed to the next 10 petals number 2. And everything the same here, you only need to fold the very bottom part. But because the petal has a slightly different shape, you will get a little more closed petal as a result. But this will happen naturally because of the shape, so you just need to keep folding only at the bottom. I really try to make the best quality templates for you guys, so it's easy to use them and you don't have to guess anything and always get the same good result. Okay, and I continue to make petals. And the same with petals number 3. You keep folding only the lower part, but because of the different shape, your petal will turn out to be slightly more closed than petals number 2. So I've prepared all the petals number 1, 2 and 3. In total I have 27 ready-made petals, and the rest small petals number 4 and 5 I like to make later because I want to see how much I will need to fold them and I just don't like to make them in advance. Okay, let's finally start to assemble our dahlia. Surely this is the most enjoyable part, right? And I start by gluing the first row of 10 petals number 1. So I need to glue each petal exactly in the middle of each section, using the small base as a stop line. First, I always try the petal on and then I apply glue to the part where I see it will contact with the base. You can also very gently flatten the petal and press it down so it sticks better. And when gluing, always make sure that the petal lies flat and doesn't skew to either side. So like this, carefully working and aligning each petal, I glue the entire row. Perfect. Let's start the second row of petals number 2. So I will glue the petals of this row exactly between the petals of the previous row, making a step inside for about half an inch. Look, I try the petal where I want to glue it first, and then I pencil mark those exact places where this petal will touch the petals of the previous row. And then I apply glue to the 3 points on the tip of the petal and on the 2 marks I just made. So like this, we will securely fix the petal. I know, guys, this is very annoying and tedious, I understand, but this is the only way to make the flower very neat and not to crease, bend, or crumple the petals. In addition, using this method, we will fix the petals not only with their tips, is the most common scenario, but also at the anchor points. And this is very important because it will surely add rigidity and stability to the flower. And be sure to try on each and every petal because the contact points will always be in different places. So like this, I continue to glue the rest petals of the second row. And this is how it looks from the inside. As you can see, the petals are firmly glued and fixed in place, and everything looks very neat. Okay, let's start gluing the third row. It will consist of 6 or 7 petals number 3, and in fact I always need a different amount. So glue the petals the same way, placing them side by side and making a step toward the center about half an inch again. This time I only needed 6 petals, but the last petal was a little small for its place, so it was kind of loose, and I glued its edges with adjacent petals so that the gaps were not visible and the petal was firmly fixed in place. Show you the inside view again, and as you can see, all the petals are securely fixed. Okay, let's now make small petals. Here you will try to decide by yourself how much you want to fold them, because the more you fold each petal, the more petals you will need for this row, and opposite, the more you open the petal, the less you will need. I usually get about 3-5 petals for this fourth row. And here's a useful tip from me. Make, let's say, 3 petals first, glue them, and then you will see how much you need to fold the last petal so that they are the perfect size and fit tightly in this row. I hope it makes sense. In this case, for example, I prepared 4 petals and left 1 for this purpose. First, I try on the petal and see how high I would like to place it. And here I no longer need any marks because I can clearly see where to apply the glue. Okay, the last petal remains, and now I will try it on and see how much I need to fold it so it fits really tightly into this row. Great, the last row of the smallest petals, number 5, left, and now I'm going to fold them quite a lot because I have very little space left in the center and I want to place 3 petals there. So I will fold and glue them one by one. And then I didn't notice how my battery died. And the last shots where I glued these last 3 petals unfortunately were not recorded. But I'm sure, guys, you can figure out how to glue the last 3 baby petals by yourself. And here's the final result. I hope that you will also try to make this dahlia flower with me. Make sure to check the description box below for a link to get my free templates. And if you want to go further and make the rest of the flowers from this composition, then be sure to check out my paper flower backdrop in the box. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. If so, remember that your like is the free equivalent of thank you. And if you want more tutorials on paper flowers, then don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave me a comment about what flowers you like me to make in the future. Thank you so much for your time and bye for now.